You're listening to Beast Over Burden, powered by Barbell Logic.
We're Niki and Andrew, your personal professional coaches.
We help you take control of your fitness through hard but doable training and nutrition practices that fit your busy life.
Build a stronger, healthier version of yourself with lifelong habits. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Beast Over Burden, powered by Barbell Logic. It's me, Niki Sims, and it's Andrew Jackson with you here on a Tuesday.
Hello again.
Woo-woo. Welcome back. We are talking about the oh no's that we turn into oh don't worries or oh you've got this. It's going to be okays. As usual, we have plenty of experience in oh no moments in training. And this one comes up a lot where we do as much as we can as lifters and as coaches to lay down a path to success. We take responsibility for as many things as we can, but it is pretty much a guarantee something is going to come in and throw you off almost entirely or even just a little bit. And we've talked a lot of times about rolling with the punches, but there's definitely a way to kind of get over the oh crap moment and get yourself back on a path of actions that still align with what's important to you. So
yeah, the scenario we were talking about before we started recording was, I imagine, relatable to most people that have started a program or got to a point where they're training fairly consistently and start getting some results. Then circumstances change and all of a sudden the thing that worked either stops working because they're not able to actually do the thing that got them to that point, or the circumstances don't work for the thing they were doing. Meaning, classic example that I personally experienced was training the 4 main lifts, adding a little bit of weight. Maybe programming was starting to get a little bit more complicated, but I was pretty much training 3-4 times a week at the same gym every time. And then I took on a new role at work and had to travel. And all of a sudden, the days that I could train started becoming variable. The equipment that I had available started changing. And I just started feeling, oh no, I can't do this anymore.
yeah,
I can't do the thing that was working. And that's tough when you don't know the principles behind what it is that you're doing.
yeah,
Or you don't really understand beyond doing this basic program 3-4 times a week and adding a little bit of weight, maybe making a couple of changes here and there, no longer meets my circumstances.
And we've definitely seen some people just be like, well, if I can't do it like it was working, I'm not going to do it anymore at all.
All or nothing.
Yeah,
Yep.
we know that's not really a long-term option. But I mean, look at you now. You've kept lifting. What did you do to adapt?
Well, yeah, I was just thinking about last week traveling, got to California, and I don't know why. You and I are probably on complete opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to how we think about and prepare for training. I think you plan for training more in advance than I plan for any other aspect of my life, just in general.
Yeah.
You kind of have like a rolling, I'd say 4 to 6 week detailed action plan mapped out.
Yeah, my entire life revolves around it.
You know exactly where you're going to train, exactly what modifications need to be made, what equipment you need to pack or that you'll have available. You scout out the gym that you're going to go to. You might even have 1 or 2 gyms mapped out.
Yep. I go full stalker mode on the gyms.
You go full spectrum. I am on the other end of
I will do Google Map walking directions so that I can decide if I can walk there or not. I will lurk all the photos to see what the equipment and chalk situation is. Tell my
I, on the
coach,
other hand, get to my destination and think,
oops, I forgot
to bring any lifting equipment at all. 0. The best I could say was I packed some tennis shoes that didn't have too much squish in them.
Yep.
But many times I will get there and be like, oh, all I have is flip-flops, or guess I'm lifting barefoot.
Your boots.
Or in my boots. It's definitely happened. So my solution is very different than yours. Yours is plan months or weeks in advance. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I would say at least a week in advance. You're pretty dialed in, right?
I'd say up to 3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks?
I usually have a 3-week look ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what happened for me is that there just became so many unpredictable variables, especially once Clara came along. Childhood and, the job situation just became so difficult to plan at that kind of level that my solution was just to embrace the chaos.
Yeah.
And learn how to get a productive training session out of whatever the context was that I was in. And so last week, perfect example for me, realized I have nothing except a pair of tennis shoes. And
You had the clothes you needed.
even those were arguably
They were a little over. They were the wrong season of clothing.
too warm.
So hoodie
I was
and full
hoodie
pants.
and sweatpants in 7-degree, cloudy, muggy weather morning, Saturday morning. But I kind of enjoyed that, again, embracing the chaos. It's just like, I want to get super sweaty and get that kind of just hot, sweaty feeling this workout. And I just picked the exercises that I could do with the equipment that we had available and got a really good workout. I deadlifted pretty heavy, like a moderately heavy single 485. And then I backed off for a set of 5 at, what is that? 210 kilos, like 465 or something, 455, something like that, with no belt.
We didn't have chalk.
I had wrist straps.
Mm-hmm.
Wrist straps. That's probably the one piece which I borrowed from you, I think.
We brought it from our home gym to the gym that we went to.
So there was a little bit of equipment to help out with that, but I just removed expectations. That was a big piece. I kind of had a sense of what I wanted to accomplish in terms of exercises that I wanted to do, movement patterns that I wanted to train. I knew I wanted to deadlift. I wanted some sort of a squat, pattern. And then I put in some leg extensions, some leg curls, some back extensions, just to kind of round things out as warm up and take advantage of having some equipment that I don't normally have.
Yep.
So I actually really enjoyed it because I just ended up using some equipment that worked my quads and my hamstrings and did some dumbbell stuff. And 15 years ago, I would have been probably all or nothing. I probably would have said, well, I don't have my belt, so I'm not really going to be able to, I wouldn't have been able to train. I don't know. Or I just would have just not trained. And instead I got a great workout. It was heavy, but doable. I even had to double take the back off set of 5 deadlifts.
The first one was a little sticky.
I kind of double clutched the first rep. My back is still a little tentative on pulls. But then 5 days later, back home, got my equipment, came back. And along with my mindset changing about the workout of the day, lowering expectations, rolling with the punches, doing the best I can with what I have, I also take a different mindset into the future workouts. So in the past, if that kind of circumstance would have happened, I would have been like, oh, I've now had some sort of setback. And now I know that if I do a heavy but doable, productive workout, getting relatively close proximity to failure, I trained really hard on the leg press, really hard on the deadlift, really hard on the leg extensions, got pretty dang close to failure across the board. I feel confident that I know that when I go back to my normal scenario, that I will have contributed to my training and I'll pick up right where I left off. So 5 days later, yesterday, I go into the gym, kind of feeling a head cold, train curious, start warming up and feel strong. Great snatch workout up to 264. And then just started warming up my squat up to 210 kilos, which is, that was my deadlift set of 5, but it was like a relatively fast single, and then backed off for 2 sets of 5 at 440. So 210 must be 465. I don't know. That's pretty dang good for me. That's like definitely recent PR. I probably haven't squat that heavy in over a year. And the last time I did 2x5 at 200, I have no idea, at least a year ago. So my solution when circumstances are highly variable is just massive roll with the punches. lower expectations and just prioritize finding things that you can do with the equipment that you have available to make it as hard as you can and move forward, keep moving forward, keep training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's a skill in learning how to let go of this reality you've created for yourself that you've decided was going to exist at one point. Like, I'm thinking of training going well and then you get hurt. As soon as that happens, you realize you were really attached to either it was a specific outcome or it was a specific journey.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, what you had visualized, which you never really knew if that was going to happen, but you were really attached to this thing that was going to happen, this path and this outcome. And now all of a sudden, it's something that you hadn't taken any time to visualize. So it's become completely unknown.
Yeah.
And that can be kind of scary and it can feel really disappointing. And when it comes with an injury, you're also dealing with pain and a lot of unknown and some fear. So over time, and I think we've definitely become better and better at this of just like, well, I'm still going to train. So how am I going to train today? You know, like the future, we might plan for something. We might work really hard to plan for it, but it wasn't written. We just spent a lot of energy pointing in one direction.
Far out, man. It wasn't written. What were we just watching? And so it was written.
What was it?
Some movie. Was that Mission Impossible?
It was Mission Impossible.
They said that so many times. It is written.
It is written.
That movie. Man. Stunts were impressive.
They were.
I'll give it that. It was a pretty fun action, but
they said the same lines just over and over again. Like, we do what we do so for people we love and those who will never see.
In the shadows.
Yeah.
It was written. Yes, your training is not written. Not yet written.
But I think that's a helpful thing to let yourself understand is like, even though you were so excited about something, there's no guarantees. And no matter what, you're going to spend time working on it. So now you get to do something a little bit different now. And so you were talking about how circumstances can change. And there are also times when like the organism changes. That's an injury. That's like menopause. That's being sick. Then you get to go in and be like, okay, what am I capable of doing today? And, we have like guidance around injuries. We have guidance around being sick and going back to principles of hard but doable, doing what you can recover from and training curious. I think that can be really helpful in getting through these like, oh man, what I really wanted is never going to happen now. Turn that into, well, I don't know what it's going to be now, but I'm in this new territory, but I'm still going to work. What is that work going to look like?
Yeah, it's a ego death, really.
Yeah.
If your identity and ego is wrapped up in the outcome of how much weight is on the bar and the weight always going up and to the right, and then something happens where you can't do that anymore, it's really tough.
It is.
And like I said, you kind of have to go through a journey of finding meaning in your training, in the process of training, beyond what probably motivated you to that point. I certainly went through that.
Same.
Totally got hooked on the adding weight, hitting PRs, seeing the numbers going up, and you know that it's going to slow down at some, like the rate of increase is going to slow down to some extent. You get kind of desensitized to that over time because it's daily at first, and then weekly, and then monthly, and then maybe every other month, and then every 3 to 6 months, and then maybe once a year. But the ones that really sting are when those circumstances happen and all of a sudden you drop. Well, what's funny is, and this is a bit of a, I think, helpful perspective shift. Often what feels like a ton of weight drop where I'm like, I'm not even the same person anymore is only like 5%.
Yeah.
So zoom out and look at your chart. Sometimes these charts, especially Turnkey Coach, I will say one thing that might be a little bit of a mixed blessing is that you look at the chart and it normalizes to make the numbers look so that the line looks like you can actually see a difference. It makes the scale relative. It won't show like 0 to 500. It'll show 400 to 500.
Yeah, which took you a year to get to.
Yeah, but if you drop 5%, the line looks like it just fell off a cliff, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
25 pounds. I'm only deadlifting 475. I used to be crushing 500, and you're like, okay, take it easy. Like,
Yeah.
you're still there. But in any case, when you have those things that happen, whether it's an injury, whether it's stress or life circumstances, when you have those big drops in performance and you're no longer able to train at what you thought were your training weights, you got to really take a step back and reframe what it is that you're doing, what is important, and what's meaningful in the session, and wrap your identity around training, which is actually, I think that's something that's really cool to have seen that I think you've done over the last couple of years. I would say you seem much more grounded in the process of training. And yes, you still like the numbers. Like, you still have weights you like to see go up, but you seem to be able to roll with the punches more and still get excited about the training, just training for the sake of training.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's easier to see and easier to communicate wins, such as big PRs. And so that can be like easily celebrated. And when you do that on platforms, it becomes this like really fulfilling activity in some ways where like you can get a lot of people are excited about what you deadlifted. But when you don't have a target, like when you're using 5 different machines across 6 weeks and there's no way to like make them apples to apples, there's nothing to really like get excited about except how good it feels and knowing that you're satisfying certain criteria. But I was thinking about that with like weight on the bar that's easily publicly celebrated, or like bodybuilding that becomes a real visual of like, look how shredded I am at this moment. And like you really see a lot of like being muscular is so obvious to see, but doing the same belt squat ish weights and reps, doing a leg press and like doing tempo things, like it doesn't seem impressive, but it feels really good. And so
Yes.
it really changes in the sense of I'm celebrating this for myself. It could probably translate into something that's neat in like a social media realm. But I think one big thing that's different now is that because the things that I do, I don't think look very cool on Instagram, but like deadlifting really heavy and squatting really heavy and doing super heavy bench presses, like that's content. What I'm doing now isn't as much so, and that's fine.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's probably feels that way because your Instagram persona was heavy deadlifts and benches for the first 10, 15 years, 10 years at least.
Yeah. And chin ups.
I would wager that your training now is more broadly relatable. Like the types of problems that you're solving and the wins that you have. Very few people, especially very few women, although your audience is mostly male, relate to deadlifting 375 pounds or 400 pounds, but they do relate to the things that you're struggling with, the things that are frustrating about training, or the things that you celebrate as a win.
Yeah.
And the one that I think is important for everyone at some point in their journey or their training history is to learn how to find that intrinsic motivation around training feeling good. This is, I think, one of the least productive tropes of the fitness industry, is that training is this super insanely hardcore. I'll even push back a bit on the voluntary hardship and the, take your medicine. And I don't think it's productive to frame it. For some people it is, clearly. But for me, when I'm no longer hitting lifetime PRs and I'm hitting the same weights over and over again, the thing that motivates me is knowing that when I get done with the session, I'm going to feel so much better. Like, no matter what's going on in my life, whether I'm tired, whether I haven't been eating well, whether I'm stressed out at work, or whatever's happening in my life, I always feel better after training, even when I have an injury. And there's definitely times where the training session itself doesn't feel good, and it might not even be even immediately after the session that I feel good, but on the long arc of time, I feel better when I'm training.
Yeah. And if you didn't train that one day, you might not have trained the next day. And then all of a sudden you're minus a week of training, which doesn't feel good.
No, I always would rather, it's a John Bros quote from years ago. Any day you touch the bar, even if it's the empty bar, is a good day.
Yeah.
And sorry, my allergies are killing me right now. I'm just like decided to my body just decided to flush all fluids out of itself when we started pressing record. All fluids
out of itself.
Anyways.
What is going on in that room?
Anyways, yeah, there's a limit to this. Somebody's going to come tell me I'm being a wuss or whatever, but some days I go out and I have a pretty lackluster session. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of getting through the same numbers on the bar. Kind of just like, there's a little bit of going through the movement,
when you're having menopause.
Just survival mode, like, I guess I'll just bench 315 for 3 sets of 5 again. But now I'm like, yep, today I'm just going to bench 315 for 3 sets of 5, just like I have 100 times. And that's a win. Even though that's not even my 5x5 PR, or I don't know, it's still, but it's heavy. It's hard, that day, that was the right weight.
Yeah. There are many days when
got a little sunburn on my back. It hurts.
Yeah. 315 was harder than it should have been.
315, yes, exactly.
That notorious phrase. Yeah.
Totes.
But hard is good. So I think if I could just kind of turn this into something that maybe feels a little more concise, when it's like that moment of, I had this plan, and then something drops in your lap of, I can no longer execute that plan. I think it's okay to let yourself feel like the loss of the excitement you had around that plan, and then still know that there are so many things you can do that are still productive. We've talked about the different types of exercises you can do. Like if you can't do a barbell squat with your belt in your shoes, have some flat-soled shoes, get on a leg press, do a belt squat. If you can't go to your gym, find the gyms that are around you. If you can't deadlift exactly how you wanted to, if you can't bench press how you wanted to, make something that's hard but doable and good quality movement. And then, adapt your frequency. Know that like your schedule's going to fill out, a new path is going to emerge, and you just keep going.
And to those people who aren't comfortable with feeling the emotions, stuff them down until you're dead inside.
Put them in a jar, put them on a shelf.
Go do the same thing Niki just said.
Leave the room.
And then have a meltdown at some later point in the future when those emotions come back uncontrollably for some other reason. That's a perfectly valid solution as well. The point is, do the work, right? Go in, make the modifications.
Point is, just keep training.
You can feel the emotions, or you can stuff them down.
We know who you are when you're at the gym and you have your hood up and your headphones on and you're just head totally down, scrolling on your phone between sets.
There's the guy at
resting 8 minutes between sets.
The gym, which shall not be named, where he comes in, takes over the public Bluetooth speaker and puts on some sort of Viking chant music for like 2 hours while he does his
whatever
strongman workout or something.
Yes.
For like 2 hours. Man.
You will all go through what I'm going through with me.
And he is not happy at any point in time during the workout, or it's his own version of happiness. He's in the stuff it down and get the work done mode, and I respect it. I've been there. I call it deployment mode. It's probably unhealthy, but it's what do you call it? Like a functioning
coping mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. Functional alcoholic or whatever. You're
functional
like
emo.
Functionally emotionally repressed or whatever you call it. I just call it deployment mode because it reminds me of when I was on deployment. I would just like all emotion would leave my body.
Yeah.
I was completely shut down. There was no happiness. There was no sadness. It was just
action
dead inside.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
And yet working 20 hours plus a day, sometimes 24 hours a day, doing all kinds of stuff. But anyways, this is getting way off track.
Do we need a therapy session?
This just turned into a therapy session all of a sudden. And I realize this has very little to do with barbells. But because actually the only time I haven't liked the stuff it down or even feel the emotions and go do stuff is when I am not sure whether the workout is productive. I'm able to say, yeah, just roll with the punches and modify things as you go because I'm a professional strength and conditioning coach. And I've been doing this for my entire life. And I pay attention to this stuff enough that I have no problem making an adjustment. But I think that's one of the things our coaches do better than anybody I'm aware of because we get a lot of clients from other places. And that's to customize a workout. And a lot of times, it's interesting. I was actually on a call with a bunch of their coaches last week. And somebody said, what is custom programming anyways? This wasn't a Barbell Logic call, but it was like, what is custom programming? We all know it doesn't. All you got to do is, it's all the same. And I'm like, they clearly have never actually customized a program.
Right.
Because I don't have any two clients that are doing the same program.
No.
0 clients doing exactly the same program. Unless maybe a couple of them want to do a similar template, like maybe at some points in time they had some similar programming. But my client that's working out 20 minutes, one lift a day is not anywhere near the same program as somebody that's lifting 3 full body sessions or an upper lower 4-day split. They all use the same principles that we've been talking about this year and for years, but each one is modified to fit the context of the individual.
Yeah.
And those modifications are the things that enable somebody to be consistent. So
yeah.
If you are not confident that your program, when you're stuffing your emotions down or crying under the barbell, if you think your program might not be as good as it could be, or you need some help thinking through it, give us a call.
We got you. All right. All good, Andrew? Did you get it all out?
I'm totally sober right now, too. In fact, I haven't touched a drink in over a week. This is me on 5 days of 100% sleep quality.
Hell yeah.
And maybe some cold medication. I don't know.
Yeah, like 5 caffeinated beverages yesterday. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have fun touching your barbell.
Bye-bye.
Till next week.